जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। बीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। 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 जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारी हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 6, verses 41 to 44. Katadumasya saurabhyam avagryaya vrajaukasha kimidam kuta eviti vadanto vrajam ayayu. Upon smelling the fragrance of the smoke emanating from Putana's burning body, many inhabitants of Vrajabhumi in distant places were astonished. Where is this fragrance coming from? They asked. Thus they went to the spot where Putana's body was being burnt. 39. Okay. 41. 41. Purport. The aroma of the smoke emanating from a burning fire is not always very favorable. Therefore, upon smelling such a wonderful fragrance, the inhabitants of Vraja were astonished. te tatra varnitam gopya पूतानागमनादिकं श्रुत्वा तन्निधनं स्वस्ति शिशोश्चासन suvismita. When the inhabitants of Braja, who had come from distant places, heard the whole story of how Putana had come and then killed by Krishna, they were certainly astonished. And they offered their blessings to the child for his wonderful deed of killing Putana. Nanda Maharaj, of course, was very much obliged to Vasudeva, who had foreseen the incident and simply thanked him, thinking how wonderful Vasudeva was. Nanda swaputram adaya pretya gatam udaradhi murdhnya upagraya paramam mudham lebhe kuru doha. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Kurus, Nanda Maharaj was very liberal and simple. He immediately took his son Krishna on his lap, as if Krishna had returned from death. And by formality, smelling his son's head, Nanda Maharaj undoubtedly enjoyed transcendental bliss. Purport: Nanda Maharaj could not understand how the inhabitants of his house had allowed Putana to enter the house, nor could he imagine the gravity of the situation. He did not understand that Krishna had wanted to kill Putana and that his pastimes were performed by Yoga Maya. Nanda Maharaj simply thought that someone had entered his house and created havoc. This was Nanda Maharaj's simplicity. Ye etat putana moksham Krishnasyarbhakam adbhutam shrunyuyach Shraddhaya martyo govinde labhate ratim. Any person who hears with faith and devotion about how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Putana, and who thus invests his hearing in his such childhood pastimes of Krishna, certainly attains attachment for Govinda, the Supreme Original Person. Purport: the incident in which the great witch attempted to kill the child but was killed herself is certainly wonderful. Therefore, this verse uses the word adbhutam, meaning specifically wonderful. Krishna has left us many wonderful narrations about him. Simply by reading these narrations as they are described in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one gains salvation from this material world and gradually develops attachment to and devotion for Govinda, Adi Purusha. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 10th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagvatam, entitled The Killing of the Demon Putana. Om Ajnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langaiti giram yat kipatham vande Shri Guru Dinatara Vanchakalpatarvesya Kapasindhavesya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thus, invests his hearing in such childhood pastimes of Krishna, certainly attains attachment for Govinda, the Supreme Original Person. So we see over here that Shukdev Goswami is giving the benediction that by hearing these pastimes, one can be attached to Govinda. Yes, one will get the blessing of attachment to Govinda, which is so rare. Yes, it is so rare. Manushanam Sahasreshu. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that out of millions and millions of people, one knows him in absolute truth. And over here the Bhagavatam is blessing the hearer that anybody who hears with devotion, Yes, submissive hearing, shushrusho, in bona fide disciplic succession. Because of the chit potency which is present, that person gets the rub, who was giving that? Haripasha Prabhu was mentioning this, that the attachment of Krishna from that person gets into the heart of the listener. And hence, getting attachment to Krishna is the goal of life. And nothing else. The purpose of the temple, as we had the disappearance of Gadadhar Pandit, I think last week. So in one of the classes I was hearing, it was mentioned by Ter Kadamba Prabhu that Gadadhar Pandit is actually Srimati Radharani. And he is also submissive in a way that he's always in the background. Yes, he's always in the background. And it is mentioned that the temple, if there are no devotees, the temple has no use. It's not like any other temple where you do have ritualistic stuff going on. No. For us, the temple is a center of education, center of association. If there are no devotees, there is no purpose of the temple at all. And that's why this fact is exemplified by Gadadhar Pandit. Why? Because devotees are the main, is the main element. And over here Shukdev Goswami is saying that because of this devotee association, because of the hearing from pure devotees, one gets an attachment to Govinda, which is the purpose of ISKCON. Yes, which is the purpose of Srila Prabhupada coming to the West. Not to establish something smartha, not to establish something ritualistic, but to emphasize Krishna Bhakti. Bhakti means devotional service, not just devotion, that I have devotion and I'll be doing it on my own. No, in a systematic way, showing the path back home, back to Godhead. And this aspect of Krishna starts, Radha Govind Maharaj mentions that, the first thing which Krishna did, literally the first thing, as he's born, as he's taken birth, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, because the purport mentions over here that gains salvation from this material and gradually develops attachment. Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam evam yo veti tatvata. Tvakta dhyam punarjanma neti mameti. So Arjuna. So by hearing these pastimes, there is no need to come back to the material world. There is no need. There is the option always, because being the Tatastha Shakti, we always have the option, even when we are on the platform of prema. But that option is so minuscule that we will never take it. There is no need. It's like if we have nice meals coming in, why would we take stale rotis? Yes, there is no need. Why would anybody actually want to have stale rotis? There is no need. So, it's like that. The choice is so evidently clear when we are in the spiritual world that we don't need all this or the material world at all. And that's why there is no need to come back. We take shelter of the internal potency of the Lord. Yes, we are under her shelter, Srimati Radharani. So, Krishna, when he appears to deliver us, to take us back home, back to Godhead, to show us what we are missing out on. Today we have that word FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Like somebody was in that meeting and I was not there. Oh, I have FOMO. I have fear of missing out. That I have missed something which I was not supposed to, or which I deserve, and then become depressed about it. But this is why Krishna comes. Yes? So that we don't miss out the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. And what does he do the first thing he comes? He comes as a baby, obviously. And as a few months, even 1 month, a child, 1 month to 3 months, right? He's actually doing such a great deed. Why Putana is called Putana for what? We were discussing with Mukundat Prabhu, I think, or it was Bhakti Sundar Maharaj. That Putana is called Putana because the caste of those Rakshasas is called Putana. Radha Govind Maharaj explains this, that she is such an epitome of that caste, that she is so expert in killing babies that her name itself is Putana now. It's like ideally, I belong to this Kshatriya caste. Yes, but my name is not that Kshatriya caste or this Brahmana caste, like we have this Brahmins, that Brahmins in India, but they don't name, the name of the person is not the Brahminical quality which is coming from or background is coming from. But over here, Putana is so good at killing babies, killing children, that her name itself is Putana. Yes. And she is so vicious. What is the worst thing you can do in this world? Yes. That somebody was mentioning that in the plane crash, there were people who were pregnant. There were people who had 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds. And they were killed in the crash. And we have so much empathy, sympathy, and it breaks our heart to even talk about it. But over here, Putana is having pride. She is the epitome of killing babies. And such an evil, cruel person enters the divine place of Vrindavan, Yes, we say Vrindavana Ramya Sthana. Everything is Chintamani in Vrindavan. You don't see the hogs and dogs and then judge Vrindavan, right? But today we are seeing all that, right? At that time, Vrindavan, the way it is explained by Shukadeva Goswami, the whole of Vrindavan, yes, the trees, the waters of the Jamuna, the lotuses, they all bloom just to please Krishna. The wind also flows just to please Krishna. And Krishna himself is present at that moment. In such a beautiful place, which is the spiritual world, Putana enters the spiritual world. Yes, with an evil mind of killing the person, the baby, for which the Vrajavasis have their heart on. They can give up their lives for Krishna. Over here, Nanda Maharaj's simplicity is mentioned, that he's so simple that that's why he is the Ragatmika Bhakta, right? Because Rag is he's filled with Rag. He is that Rag, with that Vatsalya, that he cannot see anything other than Krishna's love. He wants to please Krishna, yes, in a way of being a father. And they are so simple, they just love Krishna, and then she is coming to actually kill him. Yes. And she is having that pride, yes, today I will make Kamsa happy. Over here we want to please Krishna and make Krishna happy, and it is so difficult. Yes, it is simple, but at the same time so difficult to do. And over here Putana is trying to please Kamsa. Yes. And trying to kill the heart of Vrindavan. People say that I have lost my heart in Vrindavan. But over here, they won't shake even by listening to what Putana and what she is doing to Krishna. It is just a tagline, Mukundat Prabhu was mentioning this. It just become a tagline. People just come and stay. They think now for an Instagram reel, we have to make all this thing. And so, we cannot understand what the Brajavasis feel for Krishna. We can't even imagine. Yes, the closest thing is a mother's love to her child. And over here, Putana is coming to kill that child. She dresses as such a wonderful lady, very beautiful, so many beautiful ornaments, that she looks like Lakshmi, literally like Lakshmi. And if such a divine person is in the amidst of us, all of us, wouldn't we want to, let our child be blessed by this personality? Everybody gets so mesmerized, so mesmerized that, sometimes they show that, people get so mesmerized. They were mesmerized by looking at Rukmini so much that they felt unconscious. And Krishna was able to take away Rukmini, slowly, steadily. He wasn't quick. And over here, everybody gets shocked by Putana's beauty. She's hiding her real form. She's duplicitous. Yes? And that's why we should try not to be duplicitous. Yes? The sincerity comes when we are trying to please Guru and Krishna. That should be a sincerity. We can show the world that we are a great devotee. But then Krishna is going to be in the heart. He knows that you are trying to show that you want to become the devotee. That you are not that devotee, and still, you're trying to be like that. You're trying to fake it. And sometimes people are so covered. Devotees also are so covered that they just cannot see what they are doing wrong. Yes. Maya is so strong. Because if we do not have the desire to see our own faults, yes, then it's a problem. It's a big problem. If we are not introspective, it is a big problem. And that's why Putana is hiding that. But Krishna can see everything. Yes. Krishna can see everything. We forget that Krishna is the absolute truth, and we try to do something which we think is right, not thinking about what Srila Prabhupada or the seniors want. Very easy. Because we are addicted to this material conditioning of greed, pride. Very difficult to give it up. Very difficult, It's like if somebody encroaches on our service, which we have been doing for years and years, it is really hard to, yes, you can do much better. Or maybe you might not do that better, but it is an opportunity. Very difficult to give it up. It hurts, it burns, and then we validate that no, this is the right thing. They don't know how to do it. I am supposed to do it, I am the one who can do it nicely. I am the one who can impress people. I am the one who can preach to the whole world, What do these people know? They don't know who I am. Yes. And I was thinking that, when we go and we travel to other temples, usually we are in India, and then we go to, big temples like Pune, Mumbai, Chowpatty, Hyderabad, Juhu. You get to know that nobody actually recognizes you, right? Even if you are famous, it's for how long? People will look at you, they'll be with you for 1 or 2 days, 3 days max, and the 4th day they'll do whatever they have to do. And then we are stuck with that whole thing in our head that, oh, I am famous, I am so nice. People talk about me so nicely. In people's minds, I am the famous person. This is all duplicitous. Because it has nothing to do with bhakti. We are using the bhakti platform to actually become what we want to be in the outside world. Because bhakti provides all of this very easily. We get it very easily. Yes, very easily. When we come together, there's Sunday, we have love feast and all. What do we talk? Yes. They're difficult. It's difficult not to gossip. It's difficult not to talk nonsense. Yes. And that's why over here Shukdev Goswami is saying, with devotion when we talk about Krishna, it actually fulfills our heart. But why is Krishna's pastimes not attractive? Because we don't want Krishna actually. Yes. Somewhere there is a problem that maybe we are offending devotees. Maybe you are doing this. Mukundat Prabhu was mentioning this. I think our Bhakti Sundar Maharaj. That because of our offenses, Krishna Katha is something which is very far-fetched. We like to listen to the music. We like to listen to the middle kirtans which people play. Why? They have to do it these days. Why? Otherwise people won't listen at all. Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning this, that what is this? The katha has become an entertainment. Because लोगों को बैठने को जमता ही नहीं है आजकल. They can't hear katha. They can't sit and listen about Krishna. And he was like, I was laughing, because he was saying that so emphatically. Yes, if the audience is very secular, yes, we have to do it. But as devotees, we don't have to listen to that. Yes. Because why? If we have not developed that faith to listen to Krishna Katha, that means we are depending on what? We are depending on entertainment, not on Krishna. Yes. Who was saying this? I think Mukundat Prabhu only was mentioning, or Somebody after, Braj Bihari Prabhu was mentioning, the Kirtan Melas, the Kirtans which we do, this is all external. We are feeling it. Why? Because we feel nice about it. That's why we want to make an effort to go to Sadhu Sangha. But it's good. At least we are hearing Harinam. It's better than nothing. At least we are coming to the temple. Yes. At least we are taking darshan. But then if a person who's serious about going back home, back to Godhead, a person who wants Krishna, that is not the platform that somebody has to remain at. This is always emphasized by Prabhupada. Yes, you start with connecting with Krishna. But sometime, you have to naturally give other things up. If they are not coming naturally, that means you increase your bhakti. Not stop those things artificially. Yes, you can try, but they will come up later. They will come up later and they will haunt us. It doesn't matter how good we are. It matters how good our intent is. How good we want to please Krishna. How desperately we want to please Krishna. Otherwise, everything is a show. That, it is a social thing. People are coming. People are looking at me. Oh, people are feeling so nice. I am feeling so nice. So many people talk about me. So many people care about me. Why? Because, you are somebody in the temple. Yes. But if you go to other temples, who the hell are you? Nobody. It doesn't matter. It matters that whether we are trying to please Krishna or not. And then everything falls in place correctly. Because if Krishna matters to us, his devotees, his new devotees, like Mataji was mentioning, his new devotees who are walking into the temple, they matter to us. They will matter to us. Why will they matter to us? Because Krishna likes them. Then we won't look at their faults. Then there is no nitpicking, that, this person is actually, he should not be doing this. Yes, in my mind he should not be, but externally I cannot show that. Because they are coming with those baggages which I had once, coming to the temple. Yes. But if I am going to treat the way I would have treated myself, the same way, I wouldn't be here. Yes. So it's very fragile how we take care of Krishna's devotees. How we are looking at them. Yes, they might have faults. As management, yes, we have to tell. But as senior devotees in the temple also, they should also be compassionate. Yes. It's very difficult. All this is a very thin line where our greed, our position comes into place, and whether we are actually doing it for Krishna. Maharaj was mentioning one of the classes, like if we are not uplifting that person and just mentioning their faults to that person, it is useless. You don't give a solution. You don't want that person to actually come back home, back to Godhead. You just want to show faults and then move on. Yes, because people put up, this person is like this. Okay, so then what? How can we make it better? Jai Nitai Prabhu was mentioning this point. How can we make it better? What is the solution? What should that person do if that person is addicted to something? Should he give up bhakti because he's addicted to something? Or should he add more bhakti? Add more bhakti. Yes, that is what Prabhupada did. You have a personal problem, you continue doing your seva. Do not stop. The main thing is chant Hare Krishna. Yes, do whatever you have to do, but do not give up chanting. But then if we are telling that no, if you are not this, you cannot do anything in the temple. You don't even come to the temple. Why? Because, I cannot see this person, he's doing these things. He's so bad. He shouldn't be doing these things. He's not a good disciple. Then there are good disciples, bad disciples. Right? But if you don't read Shastra, then these things come up. If you are not reading Prabhupada books, if you are not focusing on Krishna, then somebody else's faults become so big that we cannot do our sadhana. That's just bogus. Yes, that is just bogus. That's not seniority anymore. Yes, that is actually very neophyte. And then if we are not able to see that position also, that we are actually a neophyte and we are actually seeing faults just for the sake of faults anymore, then it is like a very bad situation. then we are polluting every single person, you know. And that's why Putana coming with such a envious position, Krishna delivers her, bringing that aspect that anyone can be delivered, literally anyone. If Putana can be delivered, who is that person in this world today who cannot be delivered? Srila Prabhupada showed us by his practical example, every single person can be delivered. Yes? And that's why they need proper devotee association. And that's why association is very important. People might think that coming, yes, the new people might not know about this, but at least others should know that no, association is so important. And what do we do in association? Rompad Maharaj says very nicely that if you are not talking about Krishna, it is just time pass. It is not association. Then we are doing something else. Sometimes, yes, okay, you have to talk. But Krishna Katha has to be there. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. For me, for anyone, nobody. It won't work out. I will have my issues. Everybody else will have their issues. It will not work out. So we should focus on Krishna. We should focus how I can please Krishna more and more. In a way that it is pleasing to him, not pleasing to me. Yes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Uh-huh. Oh, Mukunda, Braj Bihari Prabhu. No. So he didn't mention that we shouldn't listen. Uh-huh. No. He was mentioning that, like, look, Maharaj, one of the Maharajas, he was mentioning that let's not enjoy the name. Let the name enjoy us. There's a big difference. Chanting for Krishna's pleasure and chanting because I like it. It is very nice. You know, like the question comes up, why do we sleep in japa and not in kirtan? Because Rompad Maharaj mentioned very simply, no, it was Haribhashan Prabhu. And Maharaj also mentioned that because we are listening to the music. He was not talking about we should not listen to kirtan or we should not do kirtan. That is not what he's saying. He's saying that we should be doing kirtan for the right reason, not for our own entertainment. As senior devotees, we should not be listening to kirtan because we like it because of the music. We are doing kirtan to please Krishna. That is what his intention was. That everybody, all Maharajas, they will all agree. Haldar Maharaj himself, he says that we are trying to improve the music. We are trying to bring in new things into the kirtan. Hare Krishna, if you listen to these days kirtan, Hare Krishna se zyada bahut kuch chalta hai. They will chant everything. And their Hare Krishna will be very less in that. Why? Because there is new modern, we have to preach to people, we have to do this, we have to do modern music. So then there is a problem in the faith. So Braj Bihari Prabhu was mentioning the problem is in the faith. It's not the kirtan is the problem. Matlab, you know, everybody agrees that kirtan has to be done. But then which mood are we doing it in? Because karna hai, isliye karna hai? No, the mood has to be very right. That we are trying to please Krishna. We are not trying to show people, oh, dekho, I am such a nice kirtanier, people are following me so nicely. Who are following you? Neophytes? No, we have to see that our level of kirtan is increasing. Matlab, not by music, by internal process. That our focus should be on Krishna, not on the tune. Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami, they were listening to kirtan which was not that great. They were just listening to cymbals playing. But they were happy listening to that. Why? Because they were focusing on the name of Krishna, not on the music. Yeah. Yeah, that is there. But the thing is that if we don't point it out, then how will others become Paramhamsas? If this is not mentioned, let's say, the new Kirtaniyas who are coming, they will never think about Krishna. What will they think about? If it is not mentioned ever, that, oh, just do Kirtan, do not talk about philosophy, do not do anything else, just do Kirtan. They will do what? They'll focus on what? They'll focus on what? Music. Because they don't have Krishna Prem. So if senior devotees point it out that we are not doing it for Krishna, that means what? The next time when I will do Kirtan, I will try to focus on Krishna rather than focusing on how people are feeling about me, whether I am becoming famous or not. It is very subtle. This point all Maharajas, Prabhupada, everybody agrees to this. That we have to do Kirtan, there is no option. Like Japa also. There are so many levels of Japa. I do the worst Japa. And it is very difficult for me to focus. But does that mean that, oh, it's okay, I'll leave it at that? No. We see that we have to increase our level. Yes. Everybody agrees, right? That Japa needs to be done properly. People should get up early. They should do before Mangalarti Japa. Ideally, that is what we should be doing. But no, it's not happening right now. We will reach someday. But do I know the goal? Yes, I know the goal. So in Kirtan also, we should know the goal. The goal is to please Krishna. If we are not telling this to the new generation or to each other, then nobody is going to focus on Krishna. Then the person who's singing, he's not going to give Krishna consciousness to the people. He's going to give music consciousness. It will be, the preaching would be, Prabhupada mentions in his, Jayadvat Maharaj mentions in his Kirtan Standards book, that Prabhupada did not like this, too much music. Why? Because Prabhupada is like, no, do simple Kirtan. Tunes are good, do simple Kirtan. Why? People need to focus on the name, not on the music. But at the same time, Indra Prabhu mentions that these musical things are ornaments. But the focus should not be lost. If we are focusing only on the ornaments, then it is lost. You know? No? You still don't agree? Is it okay or no? So the point, everybody, all the senior devotees mention, it's not that Kirtan is bad. Kirtan has to be done. But the mood is to be right. Correct. Yeah, there is no harm. Yeah, so the point is that, yes, but the point is that when Ajamil also started focusing after that time he did it. But after that, did he went back to the Vaishya and then started having children again? No, he went to Haridwar. So that part is also there, right? He went to Haridwar and then he chanted purely. And then he went back home back to Godhead. But he did not go back home back to Godhead just because of that. By Nama Bhas and Nama Prat, we won't go back home back to Godhead. It is good, we'll be liberated. But Krishna Prem is something totally different. Prema is got only when we do pure chanting. You know? So Nama Bhas stage pe Bhagvatam nahi ja sakte hai. We have to give it up. Someday we have to give it up. And if we don't mention it, then new people will continue doing whatever they are doing. And they will not get the real message. Then we have lost everything. You know? At least even Radha Govind Maharaj, Radhana Maharaj, all of them say this. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay? Hare Krishna.